Done. I'd like to call to order the meeting of August 3rd of the Zoning Board of Fraser. To order, would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
7 p.m.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please? Alicia?
Member Burley?
Here?
Member Shemensky?
Here.
Chair Farina?
Here.
Member Goodell?
Here.
Member Lesich?
Here.
And Member Menendez?
Here.
Okay.
Approval of the agenda.
Yeah, I'm thinking about adding something to the agenda.
Can you do it under new business or?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, approval of the agenda for August 3rd. Are there any additions or amendments that anybody wants to make?
Nope, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, second.
Second?
Motion by Menendez, seconded by Lesich, to approve the agenda as shown. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda approved. Approval of minutes of July 20th. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yeah, there should be a few. There's two. Under roll call, absent, which should be Burley.
Okay.
And then also, at the end, for adjournment, I did not vote yes to adjourn because I wasn't here.
Well, that would make it difficult.
Alicia, you got that? Okay, any other changes? Okay,
Frankie,
Yes.
can you do opening statement?
it's next.
Sorry.
So the motion on this to approve, what are your, there's just those two, correct?
Correct.
And, no, three. Two on the first page. Okay, and the closing.
It would just be one under roll call, absent Burley.
One under roll call, and then the other one is adjournment. You're not on there, correct?
No, it says aye for Burley, so I should not.
Just say,
Right, correct. That has to be removed.
Correct.
So I second your,
I don't know if I can motion because I wasn't here.
oh, that's right, he
I'd
can't.
like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the July 20th, 2023 meeting as, with the amendments as identified by Mr. Burley.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All set. Okay. Okay. Petitioners and members of the audience, the Zoning Board of Appeals, as herein created, is a body of limited powers. Where there are practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the Fraser Code, the board shall have the power, in passing upon appeals, to vary or modify any of the provisions of the code relating to the construction, structural changes in equipment, or alterations to the buildings or structures. So the spirit of the code shall be observed, public safety secured, and substantial justice done. No variance in the provisions or requirements of the code shall be authorized by the board unless the board finds in evidence that all of the following facts and conditions exist. One, that there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question as to the intended use of that property and do not apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district. B, that such a variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of substantial property right similar to that possessed by other properties in the same district in the same vicinity. The possibility of increased financial return shall not in itself be deemed sufficient to warrant a variance. And C, that the authorizing of such a variance will not be of substantial determined to the adjacent property and will not materially impair the intent and the purpose of the Fraser Code of Public Interest. D, that the conditions or situations of the specific piece of property or the intended use of the property for which the variance is sought is not of so general or recurrent a nature as to make it reasonably practical for the formulation of the general regulation for the such condition or situation. Having said that, we have no public hearing tonight, so we're going to go on to old business. ZBA 23-03, 17157, Anita Residential Variance for the rear and side yard setback additions. Would you state who you are for the record, please?
Yes, good evening. Eric Heider, Polyarch, 44045 Gratiot, representing the owners, Beverly Bebeki.
Okay. All right. Alicia?
So tonight we have one variance case. The applicant is proposing to attach a detached garage to the primary residence, which then takes in effect the RM district setbacks for rear yard and side yard setback. The rear yard setback for the RM district is 30 feet. They are requesting a 10-foot setback. And then the side yard setback would be 5 feet, which they are requesting a 3-foot setback. For that, the Sweeney drain is existing at the rear of their home, but the garage is located as far east on the lot as possible, which allows for an accessory structure. The attached garage will allow for easier access of the home. The resident is in a wheelchair, so that is their reason for the claim of wanting to request this variance. It would not cause any substantial detriment to the area. There are houses in the vicinity that do have attached garages. We don't believe, I said that, a substantial detriment to the property. Let's see, the request for the setback is due to attaching the garage to the primary residence of the home. If you have any further questions for me, pretty much sums up.
Clarification, they're asking for a 20-foot setback because they're 10 feet currently off the property line, so that would be a 20-foot.
Variance, correct.
20-foot variance.
Yes, it's currently set 10 foot, yep.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Do you have anything to add to your?
Since last month, no. Basically, what, like we stated, that the owner is in a wheelchair. So basically, this breezeway is going to be an interior handicap ramp that's going to connect the house to the garage, so she has easier access to the house. The house is elevated; it's more of a tri-level, so this is going to provide easier access for her to get into the house. And her condition is a rare condition that it's not going to get any better.
We went out and looked at the property.
Yes.
We did not find all of the dimensions that you have on this drawing to be the same dimensions that are on the property. Like the distance between the house and the garage. Wasn't that about 15 feet back?
About 15 feet, yes.
I have 16 feet.
Yeah.
The 16 feet was probably from the inside of the garage to the inside of the house, give or take. So that was taken from an mortgage survey. So,
Okay.
we're going to get a new survey, once we do everything. So
Okay. What kind of structure are you going to put there?
it's a heated space that's going to blend in with the house. 2x4 construction, trusses on the roof, same kind of design as the existing house. So it looks like it's part of the house.
How high?
How high? It's going to be as high as the existing portion of that rear addition of the house was.
So
it's gonna blend in.
Same roof line?
Same roof line. So it's not gonna look like an addition from the house. Now, it's gonna be a little higher than the garage, of course, but it's not gonna be higher than the actual house itself.
Do we have any other questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Do you want to go ahead, Mitch?
Go ahead.
How are you going to have access into the yard? If you're going from the garage through the addition into the house, how are you going to go into the yard?
Okay, we're gonna have, since this is being the actual.
Correct.
Driveway, we're gonna have a door here from the outside and a door on this side for access in here. And then I'm gonna have my door here to go into the house, because my handicap ramp is gonna be right in this area, kinda going up to here.
Okay, and what about coming off the rear of the building, you have venting for I'm assuming it's your furnace or whatever. What are you going to do with that? If the furnace is venting out right where you're going to drop an addition in it,
Well, we're gonna redo the furnace so it actually does vent out. So there's gonna be some engineering, some mechanical issues that we gotta abide by.
and there's electrical, I saw as well.
So we're gonna move the electrical, the meter, the whole set. So there's a lot of, structural integrity and, all the utilities will have to be moved to accommodate this. But
Because when we were looking, I couldn't figure out how you're going to mirror that addition to the garage when the garage has the overhang and it's gabled. And you're coming off what is essentially straighter, that back addition, trying
that's why
to
the addition
adjoin.
is gonna be higher, so there's gonna be kind of a combination between altering the garage a little bit so it does blend into the house.
Mr. Lesage first?
Mr.
Oh,
Burley.
that's,
Mr. Brule?
Put my
So the
light on me.
roof is going to have a gable roof, right?
That is correct.
And then the garage has got a hip tile roof,
It does,
right?
it does.
So you're going to blend your hip
We're
tile
gonna blend
into
in
that.
the hip to a gable, so it kind of blends in, of course,
And you're going to have any windows on this?
on the addition, yes. On the garage, no, we're not gonna.
No, on the addition, you're going to have some windows. That's good.
Ms. Menendez.
No, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry,
it's for
Mr. Burley.
For the addition, is it to get into the garage?
It's getting from the garage to the house.
And the reason is because so she can get out of the car and through the garage and go up?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Because the other alternative is having an outdoor aluminum handicap ramp in the front of the house, which is not really pleasing aesthetically.
Well, what about, well, I mean,
If this-
getting in the back,
Yeah,
you could put a handicap ramp in the back, but you wouldn't have, obviously.
Same
to get-
situation, it's outside.
Correct.
And it, yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah.
Ms. Menendez.
What about the handicap ramp in the side door? Because you come right up and the side door is right there and right in, as opposed to going into the garage, having to make the turn, come back out, go through the breezeway and go back into the house. There's a door right inside the yard that has access into the home.
Yeah, but that actually has, we have to have steps from the inside of the home to get up to the higher level. So this handicap ramp, when we renovate that rear portion of the house, will now have a handicap ramp going into the finished floor level.
So you're telling me then she can't come in through the side door?
No, because it's lower, because there's actually steps on the inside.
Okay, so how does she access getting in and out between the side door and the front door currently?
Actually, can relate that to her, ask her
Well,
about that one.
we have to wait for that, I guess, because
Okay. Oh,
you're speaking.
sorry. Very tough. She has to get out of her wheelchair. Her husband has to kind of help her up. It's very difficult.
Because I was kind of mystified with so many vehicles, how one is even going to get through all the vehicles to get into the garage and then get it, to move the vehicle in and out.
A couple of those vehicles will not be there when this addition kind of is finished. So she has her daughter living there that I think will not be there. There's a classic car that I believe that's going to be renovated and off-site. So once this goes in, that she will need access into the garage.
So you're telling me then there's like only one vehicle and the other three, four?
No, probably two vehicles, her and her husband's.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, when I read my statement of what was required, the law requires that we have grant a variance when it goes with the land, not specific uses for the land.
That's correct.
What is the difficulty that the land is causing you?
The only thing is the existing garage was non-self-created by the owner. So the difficulty is the existing conditions of the house doesn't warrant somebody that has more of a disability. So it's more land-related, where a tri-level house and a detached garage in the back kind of doesn't give a lot of opportunity to do a lot of additions to the house. So I would just say that the existing conditions of the land in the house.
So has any of that changed since the house was purchased? I mean, is that,
The existing conditions of the house was not altered, so it's existing.
right, but the people bought the house knowing what the house was, right? Again,
Yeah, well, because they've
something
been there for a while.
unique to the land.
Yeah, well, I guess there's nothing too unique to the land itself. I think this is more of a, not a property, but more of an ownership type need.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one last one.
Go ahead.
So, in other words, but they could put a handicap ramp in the front, it's possible. Although aesthetically, you might not like it, it's completely plausible to put a
course it is.
handicap down, turn it to the driveway, get right
100%.
out of the car and go up.
100%.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Somebody had did you want to pursue your
Go, I think Mr. Lessig.
message?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to deny ZBA request 2303 for a residential variance at 17157 Anita. I find no hardship with the property itself, and I just can't find it at this present time. So that's my motion.
Is there support for that motion?
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Lessig, supported by Menendez. And do you have it down, Alicia?
Mr. Chair, I would just let the record reflect that there's no one in the audience that's wishing to speak,
Thank you.
just as a,
Did we ask if she wanted to speak?
Anybody in the public want to speak?
Be heard?
You heard? Anybody? I'll close the public comment and bring it back up to the board then.
And my final comment is, given the fact that I cannot find a practical difficulty or hardship with this variance, and the fact that there is an alternative on the property, although maybe not as pleasingly aesthetic as one might like it, there is that option with that. And so therefore, that is why I second this motion.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Alicia, can I have a roll call?
Deny. Or yes for the motion, sorry.
Yes.
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 Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. New business of the board. None. Unfinished business of the board. I'd like to request that, Alicia, I don't know what we asked the people to give you in order for a variance to come to us, okay? But we need more than, I think, a sketch to look at, to make decisions. We have to go through and ask, how tall is this going to be? Is it going to be within the requirements? If they had a site plan kind of thing, a drawing with the details of the elevations, then we wouldn't have to ask those questions, and we could look at that and know those answers.
Okay.
Make your job a little easier, make our job a little easier. So find out what is required, please, and have Alyssa over there, turn on the fan so it cools down in here.
Does it feel hot to you? I had to put a jacket on because I was cold.
All right. Monthly report, please.
Hasn't really changed much since the last that we met. Let me pull it up.
Oh, they don't know what you told the planning committee.
Yeah, we can go through that.
All right.
I think the only update, like he'd mentioned, was last night's planning commission meeting, which we had Popeyes and.
That, I'll take care of that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
What's up with Hockey Land? The hole in the,
Oh, the action items?
yes.
Okay, understood. Let me pull that up. Okay. So last meeting, last month, the action items I have, somebody asked about the rope lighting in the windows at Smoky Joe's. I think it was Mr. Lesage and Menendez, I'm not sure. I did send that over to code enforcement. He said there's really nothing in the ordinance that regulates rope lights at the moment.
It regulates what, please?
The rope lights in the window.
Oh, okay.
The only thing we have is illumination, brightness. So that was really the only thing. And then for the liquor sign that was put up after the denial, the second inspection is scheduled for August 11th, and they were advised 30 days to take it down on July 11th. So that'll be the second inspection due to come up. And then the other thing I have, which was mentioned yesterday, last time, was the open hole on Utica at 34625, right in front of Meyer, or on that side. Mr. Logan, the building manager, did call the company that is supposed to be developing that site to get the hole fixed. He had originally left a message on July 21st. There's an open enforcement on that, which he issued a ticket on July 26th and is due to follow up on August 31st. No building plans have been submitted for that yet, so we don't know what's going there. But that is in process.
Has the grade been cleaned up from the problem with it? Soil, has that been
I'm not sure.
approved by whomever it needs to be approved by? Because it was my understanding, and again, it's what I was told, so I haven't been able to verify it, that there was an issue with the land.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that. I did, when I asked Mr. Logan, the only thing I had is that he had called the development company, and he was dealing with a middleman, kind of, and they said that they would contact the people who are supposed to be filling it. I can get that information for you.
Yeah, because if there was something that was toxic.
There was also sushi, Love Sushi. Their sign was supposed to be looked at because it was deemed to be oversized.
Yeah, as I mentioned last time, what is put up was what was approved. I don't know if they had also put up a larger sign. We don't have a regulation of measuring the sign before it goes up. But the larger sign was properly approved for them to put up 48 square feet.
48 square feet.
Correct.
But
We don't have any evidence that it is larger.
okay.
You can use a phone now.
Yes, they do have measuring tools. The city would have to buy that, but,
No, I'm gonna do it on mine.
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Bruley, would you be so kind?
You want to volunteer?
I can measure it.
Okay,
We don't
Mr.
have
Lessig.
evidence on it.
Why would they want to do something different? Myers, why would they want to?
Myers,
Right.
Love Sushi.
Oh, yeah, okay. Why would they want to go against,
Because there's bad people out there.
There was a question about, I'm sorry. There was a question about the size of the Love Sushi sign.
I'm at the sushi, not.
Yep. And that was just whether the sign that was put up was actually the approved size. So, can I ask my question?
Yes, sir.
Sure. With regard to Smoky Joe's, you mentioned that there's a second inspection scheduled for it. The question is, why was there a first inspection? This was never approved. Was there a sign permit issued for the liquor sign?
I guess by inspection, I mean enforcement.
Okay,
He went out to give them a letter
okay.
to take down.
With that in mind, it has come to my attention that the code enforcement officer has resigned, effective this week. I believe today was his last day, so that will be taken. We will not let that just fall off the radar. We will be following up. Someone in the building department will be following.
Yeah, I did hear that. I haven't been back in the office, but I did hear that. His last day was today. I believe he sent all his open cases, that was including to the building manager and the building official.
Okay?
So we'll keep it on the radar for sure.
I like this report a lot because it does help keep track of what's going on. And then there was a question, you said the rope lights are one thing, but then there's these can lights or whatever that are now installed on the front of the building. Was there a permit issued for those, and are those part of the approved facade?
Is that for Smoky Joe's as well? Because I don't think anything's come through. Was that?
I didn't hear what you
It's
said.
Smoky Joe's, the can, well, they look like little baby can lights.
Yeah, like
We had
Wisconsin
questioned that,
version.
and they weren't in any of the photographs in January, but when we went out to view the site again for the coming back before us again, they were all up.
Okay.
I can
It
send
has
you-
not come through zoning. I don't think it would. I think it would just go straight to building, the building.
Correct.
I'll check.
So the question was, did they permit for that?
Yeah.
Or are they just LED solar operated? I mean, I don't know what the requirements are. That's a building
Yeah,
issue, but I did notice that change.
They look pretty bright.
And with regards to Myers, it was my understanding that that soil could have been contaminated. So has that been,
Yeah, I'm not
You're talking about Meyer
Yeah, that-
property or?
aware. The hole.
The hole.
yeah, I heard, that is what I heard.
Okay.
I heard the holdup on
On
it.
Utica? Yeah, but that's not Myers.
Well, who owns that property next to Myers?
It's not Myers. It's,
Okay, but whoever has it, the reason why, it was my understanding, unless that's, somebody gave me misinformation that that was contaminated, that's why they could not
It's a
move forward.
residential house.
They found something in the soil, so I'm just saying maybe before somebody allows them to backfill, that they look into it.
I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that in any of the
Okay.
notes that I looked at when I checked this out. But I'll ask the building official
Okay,
Okay,
tomorrow.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you for all your input.
no problem.
Okay, I guess we'll move. Any other questions for her on the reports? Anybody? Okay, Planning Commission Liaison Report. I guess that's me. We had a meeting last night. We had 2 cases come before us, and both of them were postponed to our next meeting because neither had the requirements. One was for Compass Auto Glass at 31,000 gross spec. They came in with a sketch of what they wanted to do instead of a site plan. And on a land use, you have a very formal check sheet that you must go through in order to get a land use. And we sent them out to do that. They said they would do that. And the other one was for the, for Popeyes on Garfield, between Garfield and Utica. They want to add length to the building, which it's a non-conforming building. And we counseled them, and they thanked us, to petition for a Class A instead of a Class B variance, or variance. And if they go at Class A, they don't have to go to the ZBA for a variance after that. And they thanked us, and they are going to have the paperwork back to Alicia in the next few days. And they are they're pouring $1 million into that building, and it's still just going to be a drive-through. So, I like the way some of these people are upgrading what Fraser looks like, so. And next month will be the first month of the sign ordinance that Don will either be here or have somebody briefed, and they will presenting the first portion of the sign ordinance at the Planning Commission meeting. We are planning to have a joint thing at the end, but rather than save all your comments to the end, if you want to have input into how that ordinance is written, come to the Planning Commission meetings. The meetings generally aren't that long, and you can be heard and be part of it.
When is that planning meeting again?
It's the first Wednesday of the month. So, all right. Any other questions for me as the liaison?
No, sir.
Okay, is there any public to be heard? Public to be heard? Seeing that there's no public to be heard,
Motion to adjourn?
I skipped a step. Planning Commission, Commissioner comment, and we'll start with you, Alicia,
Nothing from the city attorney's office today.
except that it's hot in here, right?
Very warm over here. Alicia's feeling my pain too, so I think you guys are getting the good airflow over
I
there.
wonder if they
I
shut
know.
off your vent.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
it's-
all right.
It's nice in here.
Alicia, do you
No
have
com-
anything?
No comment.
Mr. Goodell?
No.
Joseph? Is there a fish fry this week?
Next week.
Okay. Ms. Menendez?
Alicia, am I pronouncing it right? I always get confused. Your turn. Why can't I get that straight? Alicia,
Alyssa.
okay,
Planner?
yes.
Alicia.
Lawyer planner.
I know the difference between the two, but their names, I always
I know.
switch them. The updates that you gave us, can we get them as you've given them to us tonight, instead of like maybe just a separate thing from you that lists all the updates, so we
Like a
can,
printed copy?
yeah, that
Yeah.
would be wonderful.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Burley?
No,
Mr. Lessig?
Nothing really from me, just one comment. You didn't miss the comments section. It's not on the agenda, so we want to make sure we get that added to the agenda in the future. So that's all. Nothing else.
On the bottom, there should be Planning Commission, yeah, there should be.
Well, isn't that public to be heard?
Actually, it's usually like commissioners to be heard or something.
Commissioners to be heard, you know. I've asked for that to be added before, but she'll get it now.
Okay.
I have great faith in her. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second, I was so moved, sorry.
Is there support?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. The meeting is adjourned.